Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm here with Asher again. We're going to keep working on Asher's fishing game. What do you think of the game so far, Asher?
It's good.
Yeah? Okay. So, looking at what our game looks like right now, if I just play it as is, we have our main screen here. And I think the most interesting thing we have to go with this is clicking on the pond. We have this, and we set up the directions where you can kind of move the fishing rod around. That works. But I had an idea of something that I'd like to try, if you're good with it. You want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is an old Python trick. This is not technically a multi-line comment. It's just making a gigantic string, but it's a string that doesn't do anything, so that code's not going to run. And instead what I want to do is I want to make the global position of the fishing rod equal to the mouse position. So I have to do get viewport dot get mouse position, and it should follow where the mouse is. So let's save this scene and try. So I figure we're using a mouse here. Let's keep using the mouse. So what do you think about that?
Wow.
Now, eventually we'll make the mouse pointer disappear. I don't want to do that just yet. But now we can move the fishing rod around the pond like that.
Whoa.
I'm glad you like it.
And now it's disappeared.
Yeah, well, because I had to click out of the thing. So you're good with that? I'm going to delete all this code then, and we'll leave that as it is. Now, the next thing I wanted to make absolutely sure that we did today is do something about how to actually catch the fish.
Yeah.
So, what we want to do, should we do that on the fishing rod or the pond? Let's do it at the pond. Bless you, little man. Bless you, little man. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed the sneezing. That was definitely part of this. So what we want to do is we want to check so that if the fishing rod is in line with one of these things, any one of these. So let's see, our fishing rod is an area 2D, right? This is good. So how do we want to do this? I'm going to say... what does the area actually look like? Fishing rod. There we go. So our collision shape is the size of the rod. Okay, that works. So we want to know, let's see, area entered, area exited, body entered, body exited. So many possibilities here. How about we try body entered, and we're going to want to connect that to itself. All right, you know what, we're going to do a little quick aside because I need to think about this one, and I don't think people want to watch me thinking about things. So let's set up the actual timer game. That was the part that I actually had in mind. We can add this later. So let's make a new scene, and we are going to, let's actually make it, you know, we're just going to call it a 2D scene and add some pieces to it. So we'll call it the catcher, how about, for catching the fish. And the things that I had in mind to add to this first is we need to add a timer. And then we also want to add a progress bar so we can see the timer. Both of these callable, or sorry, not callable, accessible as unique names. Should I have special names for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, what should I call progress bar? How about catch bar? I'm just gonna leave timer as timer. Okay, so we have all this, and they're both accessible, and we want to say, let's see, the timer. We want timeout.
3 seconds is going to be the time.
Okay. Okay, so this needs to have a script. And we're calling it catcher. Okay, and now when we go to the timer, we can connect timeout to the script. So when the timer times out, such and such is going to happen. So what I would like to do is first I want to actually have the progress bar, our catch bar, actually show how much time is left, or correspond with it anyway. So we're going to say catch bar dot value is equal to timer dot get time. Is it get time left or just get time? Oh, and it shouldn't be in the class body either. We'll fix that in a second. Get time. Let's just leave it as that for now. Probably needs one of these. All right, so let's make that part of our physics process. I think I can do just process, but whatever. Okay. All right, it's not giving me any red marks, so that means something. Hopefully it'll work the way that we actually want it to. And let's see, going back to the actual timer. It's not working. Timer, there we go. You said you wanted it to be 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. And for right now, I just kind of want to see what it's going to look like. So, so we have our timer, and we have our progress bar. I'm just going to extend that a little bit right now. And just out of curiosity, let's see how this looks. Oops. Gotta save the scene first. Nope, I knew something was wrong. Let's see. Non-existent get time in base timer. Is it get time left? Okay, so it's working, kind of. What do you notice about our timer that looks kind of weird?
It's only going 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, so you know what we gotta fix on that?
So we need it forward.
Yeah, so here's what we're gonna
Because
do.
they counted 0.
Is max value is set at 100, and you said 3 seconds, right? So that's one fix. And then the other thing I wanted to do is let's just move this a little bit so that we can see it better. We're gonna move it back for when we place it into other scenes. So now when we try it, look at our progress bar. There we go. So it's saying how much percentage is left. And you and I know that it's 3 seconds. What do you think about that amount of time? Do you think that's good, or do you think that it should go a little bit faster?
Let's see what it'd be like a little bit faster.
Okay. So let's try if we change this to 2 seconds. Let's change that to 2. And let's change that to 2. And let's try this. You like it? Okay. We can always change it again later if we want to. We can even make it change depending on what kind of fish. Like some fish might be harder to catch than others. But for right now, let's just kind of leave this as it is. And I'm going to actually put this a little more towards the center. I'm sure there's a button I can press to get it centered. I forget offhand. So let's just do that. And that's close enough. Okay, so we have a... we have that part set up. Now here's where we want to get into the programming of it. Let's just save it before we forget. And we're going to go back to our script. And here's what we need to do. Is we want to know if a button is pressed at a certain time. Which means we actually have to go all the way back to our project settings and our input map. And let's make a new action called catch. Okay?
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we are going to set that to, let's see, let's do a mouse button. How won't that work? Oh, there we go. I was clicking in the wrong spot. So left mouse button is our catch button. So what we can do is instead of having this automatically start, we're going to turn auto start off, and we're going to turn one shot on. And now we're going to change things up. So in the physics process, we will say if input dot is action just pressed. There's that new thing catch. I don't know why I used capital C, but I did, and we're going to stick with it. Then we are going to say timer dot start. And let's say we're actually going to change this a little bit. We're going to add a new variable called catching. Or how about is catching? And we're going to start it by false because it's not catching. So let's say if not is catching, then if you press the catch button, the timer will start. Else, and here's where we say if they press the button again, it's going to stop the timer and record how much time was left. So if input dot is action just pressed, catch, and you're going to do timer start, or I should say timer stop. So timer dot stop, and we're also going to say, let's see, how about catch chance is equal to, I'm going to start it at 0, and you got to make that a variable. So when the timer stops, we're going to change the catch chance to timer get time left. So however much time is left when you stop it, that's what it's going to say. And for right now, we want to check what we have. So we're just going to have it print. All right, you ready to try this? Here goes nothing.
Yeah.
So nothing. Oh, I shouldn't have. I got to move it back down again. Got to move it back where we can see it. Okay. Okay, so there's the timer. It's not doing anything. When I click, it starts, and click again near the bottom. Oops. Something didn't quite work out. And it didn't print out what I wanted. Okay. Oh, I know what we did wrong. Do you know what we did wrong?
What?
Okay. We have this is catching is false. And if it's false, we run this code. But we forgot to change it to true when we are catching. So is catching equals true. Let's try that again. So nothing's happening. It runs and stopped. 0. Here's something else you got to do. This is catching equals true. I'm worried that it's rounding to the nearest integer, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it a float. But in the meantime, is catching equals true. Okay. Let's try it again. It still says 0, and it won't restart again. Curious. Okay, catch chance is equal to, oh, I bet you I know what the problem is. It thinks it's an integer because I did that. Let's try it again. Nope, that wasn't the problem. Very curious. Okay. So get time left. That all works.
I have a guess.
What's your guess?
That what you're doing back there makes it worse and harder to get it to work.
You mean trying to make it all fancy is making it worse?
No.
Okay.
Just you doing things that makes it harder to get it.
Okay. Oh, I know what the problem is. Look at the order of these two things. I'm stopping it first, and then it does that. So let's instead move that. I could really just move it past that, but let's move it to the bottom. And then, do I need to have some sort of like restart? Well, let's try this first. Haha. So we have a number that's not 0. That's how much time was left. 0.333396 blah 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 seconds. Okay. So that's something now. We don't necessarily want this to be able to restart. I just want to see what happens if I click again anyway, just so we know. So it goes, stop it.
I see the zeros appearing.
I don't know why it doesn't restart, but to be honest, we don't want it to restart. You're either going to catch it or you're not going to catch it, and then we're going to want to have to reinstantiate this. Okay, so the last thing I want to do for today is just to see, did we catch the fish or not? And what we want to do is we want to increase the likelihood based on how low that number is. So there's a number of ways that we could do this, but here's how I would like to do it. So we're going to say probability of catch is equal to, and how about we do, that's okay. So we start with 2 seconds. So let's do 2 minus catch chance. And I forgot to do var again. This is the problem flipping back and forth between Python and GD script is there's a few differences, and putting var in front of all of your variables the first time you mention them, that's something I'm not used to doing. Okay, so we have 2 minus whatever the catch chance is, and now we're going to do, so we're going from 0 to 2, so let's just do, I'm just going to call it prob for now. Var prob is equal to rand f range is what I want. And pick a random number between 0 and 2, and we're going to say if prob, what do we want, is less than or greater than? So we want it to be
less than.
Yes, less than probability of catch. Should have thought about these variable names before I started programming. Then we're just going to print you caught the fish. All right, let's check this.
Did you catch a fish?
I don't know what happened. Timer stop. If input is just pressed, we print is catching. So that printed that. Probability of catch. Oh, we forgot to have an else. I guess I didn't catch the fish. You didn't. Oops. Catch the fish. Okay. Making all sorts of mistakes today.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't catch the fish. You can see it right down there. So I clicked way too soon. It was very unlikely. So now let's try and do it as best I can. And that time it says I did catch the fish. I went down to 0.1. Okay. There's a lot of touching up that needs to be done here, right? But what do you think about the progress we made today? People can't see your thumbs up in your face. Can you describe your thumbs up in the face that you're making? Can you describe the laugh that you're making right now? You really not going to say anything? That's okay. I think Asher's happy with the progress that we're making. I know the video game development, the process can be kind of slow. I mean, we did a lot today, but don't have much to show for it, but that's okay. I'm feeling great about where we're at. Is there anything else you would like to say before we close out this video?
Like and subscribe.
Okay, as Asher's walking away, this is your best opportunity to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.